Hey everybody, today we're going to be reviewing this M&P Bodyguard that the wife picked up, chambered in 380 auto. It's a micro frame, but holds 6+1 rounds, coming in at 12 ounces. So with the intro out of the way, we'll unbox it, we'll tear it down, we'll have a look at it, put it back together, we'll take it to the range, we'll evaluate it, we'll tear it down again, then we'll have a closing discussion about it. We got a lot to do, so let's get started. Included is the compulsory lock. Some are better than others. Some are downright terrible. I got a video about some of these locks. Click the link on the top right corner. We'll take you to that. I just wanted to touch on that right quick. This is the lock. California crap, just for Californians. Gun registration, not the anti-constitutional kind that the Democrats want, but with the company itself. And a very thorough user's manual with lots of bold, red, and capital letters. This piece comes stuck in the chamber to show it's not loaded. This is no longer needed. And the gun, of course, which comes in a zippered tote bag embroidered with a company logo. Most accidents with guns happen at home. Think the gun is unloaded when it's not. Even this brand new firearm will be cleared. We'll drop the magazine. We'll open up the chamber, have a look inside. This is unloaded for the video. I've had to completely change this narration because it got flagged by YouTube, so bear with me as I tell you it in a different way. To the left is a Glock, and a Glock has a trigger safety. It does not have a thumb safety, as we see. And while there's an ongoing debate about trigger safeties versus these thumb safeties, if somebody is carrying this in a bag or a purse, they might feel more comfortable if they're not relying solely on a trigger safety to stop the gun from going off for reaching into a bag, as opposed to having that thumb safety. So, personal preference, some people want this thumb safety. As stated previously, the magazines hold 6 bullets in each. This one came inside the pistol as delivered. The other one came in this holder. And if we take a look at them, if I flip it around in the same direction, we'll see they're not the same. They shipped them, one having a little bit longer base on the bottom, allowing for a slightly bigger grip for those with larger hands. That's a very nice feature. So we'll be able to test both of those and see which ones we like better. So now we're going to get underway with the field stripping of this pistol for inspection. We're going to have to open up the slide, lock it open. So we'll do that now. The takedown lever is going to need to be rotated past the 6 o'clock. It may be difficult on a new gun. They recommend using a non-marring plastic like this one that came with the gun. I'm not going to need to, so I just push it and flip it just like that. And now we're going to be able to wiggle it and pull it out of the gun and place it off to the side. As I pull the slide back, the slide lock is released. Gently bring the slide forward and off of the frame. For regular field stripping, there's nothing broken down further in the lower portion of this pistol. We can put it off to the side. Now we're going to remove the recoil spring from the slide. We're going to lift it up off the ledge, make sure it doesn't fly away. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring my hand around it to secure it. And now the tension's off the spring. We'll just take it right out. Separate these two pieces and put them off to the side. Now we have within the slide the barrel. We could just bring it forward to release it and up and out. Separating these two pieces now. The pistol is now fully disassembled for general cleaning and inspection. These haven't been oiled since they were built. Before you take them to the range, it's a good idea to oil them as specified in the manual. I'm putting 2 drops here as specified, 2 drops here in the back also as specified, and 2 drops in the front on the rails as specified. Working in just a little bit with my fingers. You don't want to take a gun that has no oil on it to break it into the range. Having looked over everything, I'll begin reassembly, starting with the barrel. I'll push it back up into the slide, and then back and seat it into position. You feel it lock into position. You know it's good. The guide rod will go back into the spring, and it will also seat in the detent up front, and then the other end of the guide rod seats on the barrel lug that holds it compressed in a position as shown. Taking my time, of course, to ensure everything is assembled correctly. As we look from the rear of the frame, we could see where the rails of the slide need to line up. So we line them up and we slide it back. Slide it back and forth just to distribute the oil a bit before I slide enough till I feel resistance. And I stop. We need to take notice of this portion here. The barrel goes down and forward as we pull the slide back. Just like that. And we lock the slide, checking that the barrel is fully forward. Now we take the takedown lever and insert it as shown. There's an interference piece here, so we have to push it down and out of the way a bit, just like that. and the takedown lever goes about halfway in. Jiggling the barrel as we press it in, it snaps into place. If you have any problems getting this piece in, try jiggling the barrel as I did. It makes it a lot easier to accomplish this task. I'll deflect it a little bit, make sure there's no binding, but now it's fully assembled. Rack it back forward, and that's it. That's the field stripping of this pistol and the oiling as well. For our next topic, we're going to re-verify again that the gun is unloaded, because I'm going to put in a unloaded magazine. This is the shorter magazine. And really quickly, this is double action. So for me, very strange using guns more like 1911 is what I'm more familiar with. So just wanted to point that out. But I'm going to hold the trigger and hold it like just showing that not even 2 fingers could fit on the grip when you pull the trigger. It's like 1.5 fingers with this magazine. And that's fine because it's a micro. But when I add that longer magazine in, at this point, I could get 2 full fingers on it and a finger on the trigger. So this magazine would probably be more appropriate for me. I don't know about the wife. All this really comes down to preference, trial and error. We're really going to see what happens on the range is really going to tell the story about all of this. And speaking of having your finger on the trigger, which would generally be a faux pas, except for this demonstration, let's talk about the safety. You can see you can pull the trigger without a magazine in, right? You can pull the trigger with an empty magazine in, which is kind of strange, but it does have a safety. So when the safety's on, you can't pull the trigger. It's not effective in any manner. Also, you can't pull the slide back. So the safety does work. I may be speaking out of ignorance here, but I would have thought with the double action, it would have inhibited the use of the trigger if, you know, the magazine was out, or the magazine was in, but the magazine was empty. Now, there's a small notch over here to let you know that there's a round in the chamber, but people would see a firearm that doesn't have a magazine in it, they would assume it's not loaded. And unlike a 1911 where you'd have to pull a hammer back if there's a round in the chamber, this one you don't have to, you just squeeze the trigger. So I just found that a little bit strange. Maybe I'm overthinking it. The takeaway is the thumb safety is the only safety on this gun. Let's hit the range. We're going to start things off by putting a couple rounds in both magazines. I don't think she's going to like the smaller one, but let's go. She's never shot a double action, and I don't own one. I don't have a whole lot of experience with them. Also, again, very small grip, so it's going to be a bit awkward. And we can already see she's having a little trouble finding where to place her hands, especially on this really small grip. Repositioned a couple times, just one finger she can't find a place for. And again, surprised at the amount of force required to pull the trigger back. So she takes a couple shots. There was only a couple rounds in there, and that's it. She's already expressed that she's done with the smaller grip. Can we try it? Okay.
Try it out.
I'm going to give it a shot. Again, I don't have any great deal of experience with double action. It's not my thing. But we'll give it a go. And that is an incredible amount of force to pull back the trigger. This is definitely not my Kimber. I demonstrate the pistols unloaded as I show my wife what's going on here. The trigger has so much force that if you're pulling down on the bottom of the trigger, you're actually pulling the whole entire pistol down and to whatever hand you're firing from. With each subsequent round, both she and I improve as we get used to the double action. When I say improve, I think both of us need a significant amount of work on this pistol to become proficient, or at least somewhat proficient, with this double action, because it is miles away from the trigger on the Glock or the Kimber. Even on some of my old school black powder firearms, triggers are much more precise than something like this. 1, 2, 3.
And they have 4, 5, 6.
So I'm shooting to the left. I'm pulling to the left on mine.
Yes.
I think if ever there was truly a candidate for one of the laser training systems, which I've also shown in a video on the 9mm on the wife's Glock, link on the top right, this would definitely be it. It would be one of the advantages of the double action because you don't have to rack it back after every shot, and it would allow you to really get a lot of training time in on this type of setup without going down to the range. So we're definitely going to look into that for this caliber and see what we can do. Probably make a separate video for that. We wanted to see just what the actual weight of the trigger pull was. Jesus. Can you do it one more time just for posterity? 8 pounds, 9 ounces?
Mm-hmm.
7 pounds and 15. Yeah, that's no joke.
Yeah.
That's not a match trigger right there.
Not even close.
Hot dog. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We got 50 rounds through it. Let's tear it down, see how it looks, and clean it up. Yep, forgot the magazine. Going to start off first with the guide rod. We're going to check this out. I'm just checking for dirt. I want to see how much is accumulating around the gun. And I can see very little on the guide rod. Moving on to the recoil spring. And yeah, again, very little dirt accumulation on the spring. So the spring is clean after 50 rounds. This was followed by the takedown lever. It had some accumulation. Also on the very end of it too, I saw some and decided for that I was going to use my hard bristle brush, which took it right off. Could have been on there from before, but it cleaned right up. No big deal. Then the magazine, which only had some powder residue right here on the top. So I just wiped that right off and a little bit just around the very base of the magazine as well. Visual inspection of the frames conducted. I see a little bit of debris, not too bad. I zoom in on the mating surfaces especially. Just a little bit of debris again. Not very dirty after 50 rounds. But we're going to take a tissue, have a look here, and we see on the rails a little bit of accumulation, not terrible again. So we're just going to start wiping just to see where the dirt is, just to identify where this thing gets dirty, in the rails especially, taking a look. And also with the Q-tip, and the Q-tip's not pulling off any more than the cotton did. So I'm going to keep going. Did find behind the hammer accumulation right here, and also in the magazine well. I used the brush with the cotton cloth to get into the magazine well to clean it up. Wasn't too bad, just a little bit in there. I'm being extra thorough because this is the first time cleaning this gun. It only took but a couple minutes to do the frame. Really wasn't bad at all. Now I'm just touching it up on the outside to remove any dirt and debris. Next is the barrel, and it almost looks like there's some sort of cosmoline on the outside of the barrel from the factory. So I'm just going to take that off. I see some accumulation from gunpowder, but also that brown cosmoline. So we're cleaning that up now on the outside of the barrel first. Actual powder accumulation, not too bad. Now we'll swab the inside of the barrel, clean it out. Again, after 50 rounds with jacketed ammo, we're not talking about a horror show here. I'm just trying to be thorough and go through all the steps in demonstration of the video and give this gun a first time complete once over. I always feel it's important that on a brand new gun, you should do regular cleanings to ensure that the break-in is proper. Lowers the chance of mechanical failure. And this brings us to the slide where we expect the most dirt to be. So we're going to take a look here, and we could see dirt here up front, and also that brown cosmoline again, that preservative. So I'm taking a clean towel, and again, I see that brown appearing. So we're just going to clean up this whole thing, use a little Rem oil. Just wipe everything down. Close-up shows good wear pattern as part of the break-in. We could see over here. All mating surfaces are inspected for good wear. This is just the easiest to see. Now we'll get in everywhere, try and remove as much dirt and debris as possible. Here's a recess for the hammer where it meets the firing pin. We'll clean that out. Once sufficiently cleaned, I wipe out all of the excess Rem oil. It leaves just a mild sheen inside. This right here is good to go. So there is another safety feature on here, firing pin disconnect. We can see as I push the firing pin in from the back, only when I depress this right here can the firing pin protrude from the front. And now we can see it's kind of stuck forward. There's a firing pin. If I push this in, it snaps back. So I'll just give the outside a once over, and with that, the cleaning of the slide is now done. Cleaning completed, it'll now be re-oiled in the specified areas in accordance with the manual. As I disperse it, I do want to make sure that I get into the rails. Oil is also applied to the barrel as specified. Now to show my disassembly video backwards because I spend so much time creating it. Very lazy. And that concludes this video on the M&P Bodyguard 380. I hope you found the video enjoyable, entertaining, and informative. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Helps me out a lot when you do. And hit that subscribe button for more videos like this when they come out. If I make a laser training video for this double action, I'll post a link here in the top right corner. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Would you like to reply?